Just have the best
They
time.
get back
Yeah.
whenever I'm
So
done with
I just wanna explain. So kind of like the roles on set. So we talked about here before how like usually, right? So things change a lot on set. So it all depends on the size of the set. If you have a bigger set, you're gonna have more people. So that way you're gonna have to. You're gonna be able to let each person do perform where they're best at, right? So I like directing. Emmanuel likes to DP. Val usually is between art direction or she's a gaffer. Brooke, who was on set with us for that day, she directs, but she's really good in production design, and she sometimes likes to act on some pretty good stuff. She's done a couple of films
amazing,
with us,
yeah.
so. She did Roadside Assistance and The Blue Room, and it was just a really good performance on both of them. And I got to direct her. It was a pleasure for me to direct someone that has directed me as a DP before. It was just a very nice experience. And so we like switching roles a lot. But for this one, we got to do what we like to do best. Except, of course, I wasn't on set, so I had to do some of the direction in pre-production. So the whole thing here is to make sure, because here's the thing, guys, every shot you take, it's not only about what's on the screen and on the camera that you're capturing, on the frame, but everything you're leaving out of the frame. There's so many choices for every shot you get for each video, each film you make. There's so many different choices. So you have to make sure everyone on set is on the same page, that they understand the language, especially on a small set like this. Because if you have 100 people on set, not every assistant producer or production assistant or AD has to know everything. But on a set like this, Val knew what we were trying to say, Emmanuel knew what we were trying to do, Brooke knew it, and even the sound guy knew it. Like everyone that's on set needs to kind of have the script, know where we're going for, know what equipment we're gonna need beforehand. So that's where I came in, and then on the editing side. And I think we learned some stuff on the editing as well.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have us late, right? And that's something we usually do have. And that for me on the editing make everything take longer.
That made me slow my progress. But yeah, I feel, well, going back to all this work that is like just little by little getting everyone on the same page is one of the hardest things ever. Like, ever. Like, I'm dealing with that with my documentary, and I'm like, oh my God, they never get to say the same day, same schedule. It's hard. But to make a highlight of this last commercial is that we literally hit all the time marks, and we could have lunch, and we left the set on time and early to drive back home. And that was, I was dreaming. Like, I was like, I don't know. I knew the shots looked amazing and everything, but I was like, wow, first time we're not hurrying, and it's like, oh guys, it's past 2 hours, and we're like,
we go a 2-hour lunch. We took our time eating. We drove to location. The funny thing is,
that was good pre-production and experience too.
you know what's so funny? I don't think I told Diane that the wrap time wasn't actually the wrap time for the first location. I just put the time that I thought we were going to be done. But the wrap time was at noon, was at 12 p.m. And then it was like 12:45. And that's the wrap time that was on the call sheet. It didn't even say wrap time. It was just the last shot said we would be done around that time. And then she was like, "Oh, we're late. Oh, we're struggling. Oh, we're this, all that."
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking at her like, "Relax." And she's looking at me like, "Why are you so relaxed?
they
Why
had
are you so slow?"
PTSD from all the ones before they had to schedule, and we're like,
Yeah, we're
like-
getting better at it. We're getting better. I think it's two things. We got better at it, right? Like on this one, she went and she asked me later, could you tell Emmanuel next time to actually write the time when it's supposed to end, and not pretending that he started at 8, because there's always an hour for making everything, like setting up everything. But I think the one thing that we're not necessarily struggling at, but I think that we can improve more, is having an AD on set, an assistant director, which for you guys watching, it's a person that's gonna deal with the schedule, which is what we're talking about, but also in a smaller shoot like this, they can help log the shots onto a script log for the editor, so like an editing log. They can help keep track of small things on set, making sure that the actors are ready for their scene, making sure that all the pre-production documents are there. And I think the main thing is the link between the agency and the crew. Because when you don't have, when it's not a film set, when it's a commercial, you also have an advertising agency involved. So that link, that bridge has to be really clear so that everyone's also on the same page when it comes to that. Not only the vision, but also how to make that vision come to life.
Yeah, and it's a lot to juggle, and I think every single time we work with different agencies, we can kind of show our skills, and sometimes if it's the first couple times we work with them, we kind of work more than we're used to kind of prove the budget and prove that, you know, we're doing everything well. But they kind of show why we also need specific people on set. An AD is super important. A script supervisor is super important.
Yeah, it's like proving why like each person that is actually there is needed. You know, like sometimes you can find a lot of people and then they're like slacking, you know, in the snacks area, just eating a little bit or whatever. But like if you know how your team works and then you explain that to your client and be like, yeah, no way I'm not having an AD because this of that.
Yeah.
Then next time they work with you, they understand better your breakdowns of the payments and things like that, you know. But it will all make sense in the final result, like you know, like there's
it's because for them too, a lot of them don't see the struggle we go through during the process. Like the agency didn't see how long Fernando took to edit that footage. They just see the final process. They're like, well, it got done either way. It got done on time. But for us,
I think also what Val is saying is not only like the side of the agency or our side as the production. And for me personally, I've always been a bridge between both. So it's a different mindset. It's almost like I have to put a filmmaker hat on and then an advertising agency hat on. And sometimes it's hard to put, sometimes you want to put both hats on and then you look weird. And it's true. It's true. Like it's because it's two different mentalities and mindsets. The agency world, which is usually dealing with more digital products, they're more used to planning everything out and having things on paper and everything is very accurate and there's a meeting time. Production, there's always troubleshooting. There's always problems, so you always got to be ready for that. It's very different, and especially for me after living in Brazil and working here, people get to places late, they don't plan as much, they fix stuff on the last minute, they will get this tiny little light that's on the corner, wrap this gel around it, and boom, the whole room changes the color. They didn't even use a light. They literally just used whatever light was there and they made the whole room blue. Like last minute, just like that.
Of life, yeah.
Yeah, so because you gotta do so much with so little that you have in your hands here, you know, in countries like this. So that's just stuff you learn with time, but that's a different hat. Advertising, filmmaking. How do you bridge those two, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I know that, yeah, you're completely right. But if you manage to have like this switch mindset or learn from the ad industry how to put it into the film industry or just like the video videography in general, then you're gonna have better outcomes because it's like you plan for the message beforehand, you know, like sometimes filmmakers are like all about like how they feeling, how they envision and all that, and they totally forget about who they're
You're
watching.
Right. I love that.
And then
You're right.
Going back to like in advertising, there's no message if they don't have a target, you know. You build everything upon that. So I think it's cool to have both reference or at least instruct yourself in the area of like the commercial part so you can like kind of nail it better when you tell stories, even if filmmaking, videography, or just blogs, vlogs, name it. anything.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think you nailed it too. Like, I think the end of it is that we're just trying to tell a story. Agency's trying to tell a story. We're trying to tell a story, but we have different ways of getting to that end point. So it's just getting that connection, getting that conversation going, and then learning on each production on how you can tell the story better and how you can make the process of telling that story easier instead of hammering your head on a specific set, trying to make it look better and better and better, or make the actor go better, better, better. But I think we're getting really good at that, and I think the years of experience are showing, especially with this commercial. When you showed me the commercial, Fernando, I thought it came out great. I thought we killed it on something that was like a one-day shoot. It was like what, 4 hours on location on each location.
Each location, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 2 actors. Like super easy, super chill. Back to what Val was saying, I think what happens a lot with like, we love so much what we do that we want to kind of, especially videographers, I feel like, and sometimes filmmakers, get lost in how pretty that shot's gonna look. So they want to add all the transitions possible. And these, they learned this really nice vertigo shot. So the camera moves in while it's zooming out. Like, there's purpose to the language of filmmaking. There has to be purpose for every shot. Why are you framing this like that? So when it comes to cinematography for this, let's go back to this specific commercial. You guys did something simple and pretty. Emmanuel has a nice gimbal and a camera that has good stabilization. He didn't go in with that camera and started getting these crazy movements. Hey, Fernando, I learned this really nice movement I can do with my gimbal, bro, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna have the drone pull in and then zoom into the gimbal. No, that you can do for an event video where you have to make everything more dynamic and fast. Here, tripod, boom, frame it, good lighting. You guys use the haze machine. You want to talk about that?
Now it's always in my car.
Yeah, you have to have it in your car. The haze machine is a lifesaver. But to kind of add on to what you were saying, it's like, for example, like even in the shot list, we had like a slider in mind. We had like a slight gimbal movement for some of them. And once we got to set and we saw the time limit and we saw the restrictions, we were like, okay, like, is this worth taking that time? Is this really going to make the storytelling better if we use a gimbal or slider in this and take time to set up all those
and getting
equipment?
better the shot instead of like
Yeah.
like you have to time manage. Like there's so many things compared to making a video that people don't really think of, and it's all creativity not because you're envisioning, telling story or anything like that. It's because you're solving problems on spot.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
you're not
It's just
doing
a job
that,
of solving
it's
problems.
not
That's all
gonna
it is.
work. Exactly.
It's just solving problems 24/7.
Yeah, I mean.
But I
feel
think you guys did great. I mean, even with you saying like, hey, there were things on set on the shot list, like for instance, the slider movement, easily replaced nowadays by shooting in 6K and framing it a little bit wider, or 4K and framing it a little bit wider, so you can go in post and do this. And I did a bunch of that, and it's slight little movements. If you're watching, something's going on. As the audience, you're watching that commercial. And guys, if you want to see what we're talking about, message us, we can send you the link. And if you're the audience, you can tell every scene, there's some movement. There's something dynamic going on. What's going on? It looks nice. You don't quite catch what it is. It's that slider movement Emmanuel's talking about. So he right away finished the shoot. Hey, Fernando, yeah, we didn't do the slider shots, but I did this and this and that, and you're going to be able to zoom in and do the movement. That's it. That's all I had to know.
Yeah. And it's just juggling the time, because guess what? Like, we can make our life easier on production or like on the actual set, but it's also juggling like, okay, is this really going to be worth it for the post-production? Like, okay, if it's easy for the post-production, we'll cut it out. We'll put it in the post-production. But some people go like, oh, we'll fix it in post. The famous
that's different.
Saying.
That's different.
We don't have an actor. We'll fix it in post. We'll just put AI guy there. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the next 5 years that's possible. But it's about juggling everyone's workload and seeing how much everyone has to work, and then seeing what things we can nip off to kind of make the process a little bit faster.
But making the process faster while telling the story.
Yeah, you can't avoid the story. Like if you're sacrificing the story, then why are you shooting it? You know.